Step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
With family, cannolis, and spins mean everything.
Now, you wanna get mixed up in the family business.
Introducing The Godfather at ChumbaCasino.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot.
Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me.
Play The Godfather, now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Welcome to the family.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
It's time for today's Lucky Land horoscope with Victoria Cash.
Life's gotten mundane, so shake up the daily routine and be adventurous with a trip to Lucky Land. You know what they say. Your chance to win starts with a spin. So go to LuckyLandSlots.com to play over 100 social casino-style games for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. Get lucky today at LuckyLandSlots.com.
Available to players in the U.S., excluding Washington and Michigan. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
With the Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
This is your captain speaking. We've got clear runway and the weather's fine, but we're just going to circle up here a while and get lucky. No, nothing like that. It's just these cash prizes add up quick. So I suggest you sit back, keep your tray table upright, and start getting lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Clever touch from McKennie. This is Cambiaso. Here's Vlahovic. Away from Hien. Dusan Vlahovic! Scores again in the Coppa Italia final. And we've played just 4 minutes in Rome. And it's Juventus who make their mark first with one of their biggest players of the lot, Dusan Vlahovic. Well, there you have it. The Coppa Italia Frecciarossa 2023-24 season has come to a close, with Juventus winning the competition for a record-extending 15th time. They were already the only team into double figures, Roma and Inter on 9. And now Max Allegri has won it for the 5th time. He's the most successful coach in the competition's history. And to be honest, Juventus worthy winners, not just on the basis of what we've seen tonight. They were very convincing in the tournament throughout. They won 6-1 in the round of 16. They won 4-0 in the quarterfinals against Salernitana and Frosinone respectively. They pretty much had their semi-final put to bed after the first leg when they won 2-0 against Lazio, despite a minor slip where they allowed Lazio to at one stage level the tie at 2-2 on aggregate. But then Milik scored late on. He goes away as the competition's leading goal scorer with 4 goals, believe it or not. But tonight was all about Dusan Vlahovic. It was basically a tale of two strikers. We saw how important Juventus's number 9 was to them, and whilst Gianluca Scamacca doesn't wear 9 for Atalanta, his absence was keenly felt by La Dea because he was suspended, and whereas Juventus had Locatelli missing, they made light of his absence. I thought Hans Nicolosi Caviglia was very impressive despite having limited game time, came into the holding midfield role, played very well. But as I mentioned on the pod on Tuesday, a colleague of mine had said that he felt it was either a big Atalanta win or a Juventus 1-0 win. And as soon as Vlahovic scored inside 4 minutes, it really felt like the latter, especially as Juventus just sat deep, asked Atalanta to break them down. And Atalanta, like so many teams tried in the first half of the season when Juventus were winning a number of games by a goal to nil, just had no answer to break down Juventus. We saw it earlier this season with Juventus winning in Florence when Miretti scored the only goal, and it was just, they couldn't get in behind the Juventus defence. There were crosses galore which were just repelled easily by Bremer, Danilo and Gatti, all of whom were excellent, diligent as ever, and they seemed to absolutely relish that particular task of just keeping clean sheets and defending and staying switched on. Bremer, fantastic as usual. Danilo, as ever, very experienced, did his job. And Juventus were just superior to a man all over the pitch. It's the 3rd Coppa Italia final that Atalanta have played under Giampiero Gasperini, and in all 3 they've been pretty underwhelming. In 2021 against Juventus in Reggio Emilia, in front of only 4,000 fans, lest we forget, because it was post-pandemic. At least then they scored. They actually equalised after Kulusevski had scored the opener. It was Malinovsky who equalised on that occasion. But this time around, it was hugely disappointing because they just never really looked like scoring. One shot from Ademola Lookman in the second half notwithstanding, when he opened up to try and curl it across goal and then quickly closed his foot nicely and actually caught Perin out at his near post. Perin was beaten, but the ball flashed off the post. But Juventus could have easily scored a second. There was Vlahovic with a decent chance, a decent cry for a penalty, I think, when it looked like shoulder to shoulder initially. Slow motion close-up replay showed that actually he went knee to knee on Vlahovic, so that could have easily been a penalty. Vlahovic then had the ball in the net with the most beautiful glancing header from Cambiaso, he who set up the opening goal as well with that lovely through ball. And then semi-automatic offside technologies showed that actually Vlahovic was marginally offside, albeit again it feels a little bit unfair. It was his shoulder and his kneecap, both of which are parts of the anatomy with which you can score, albeit Vlahovic actually scored with his head, and it was a lovely header. It's exactly what you need. Barely needed to make any contact with it, got just enough on it to send it in off the post. No chance for Kadnisecki, but Atalanta didn't show up. They were just hugely disappointing, and it really flies in the face of what Gasperini's constantly been saying. He's really been beating the drum as to the fact that he feels and has always felt that Coppa Italia was Atalanta's only real possibility of winning a trophy, a relatively short route to the final, a domestic competition where he feels they can get the better of their rivals. But
support for Serie Chronicles is brought to you by Manscaped, who are the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Shaving your jewels doesn't have to be risky business anymore, thanks to the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra.
This trimmer is all about keeping things smooth and safe so you can trim with confidence. Treat your boys down there and join the 10 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped by going to manscaped.com to get 20% off plus free shipping with code Serie. With Manscaped, it's easy grooming, no surprises.
Okay, round two. Name something that's not boring.
A laundry? Ooh, a book club. Computer solitaire, huh?
Ah, oh, sorry, we were looking for Chumba Casino. That's right, ChumbaCasino.com has over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Hey guys, it is Ryan. I'm not sure if you know this about me, but I'm a bit of a fun fanatic when I can. I like to work, but I like fun too. It's a thing. And now the truth is out there. I can tell you about my favorite place to have fun. Chumba Casino. They have hundreds of social casino style games to choose from with new games released each week. You can play for free anytime, anywhere. And each day brings a new chance to collect daily bonuses. So join me in the fun. Sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18 plus.
I did think it was bizarre that so many people were talking up Atalanta as so-called favourites in this, because Juventus have had a really underwhelming 2024. They've been shocking in the second half of the league season. But they've been pretty good in the Cup, and Allegri knows how to win it. He won 4 League and Cup doubles in his first 5 years in charge of Juventus, when he won the league title in the first year, and then years 2 through to 5 he won not only the Scudetto but the Coppa Italia as well. And he's also delivered Juventus' first trophy in 3 years since they won against the same opposition, the same competition, albeit under Andrea Pirlo at a different venue, back in 2021 at the Mapei. And I have to say I was hugely pleased for Vlahovic, who's been recruited at huge expense by Juventus, had his detractors, like Allegri's had his detractors. We had a comical moment when he again threw off his jacket and tie in a rage. I don't know who he was exactly annoyed with.
Max Allegri has now been sent off, and if Allegri keeps going, he won't end up with any items of clothing left.
I think he was initially annoyed with the referee for not blowing a foul on Danilo after Ederson's shot had been saved by Kadnisecki. He did eventually blow the referee. There was also that incident prior to that when Illing Jr. had been struck in the face by a Zappacosta cross, and then Jim City put it into Koopmaner's header, and he put it narrowly wide, and would have been very interesting to see what would have happened there. I think the goal would have stood because the referee didn't stop play. So I think it was all building up to that, and Allegri knew what the fine margins were, and it was a big victory for him, winning it his way, 1-0, defensive solidity. You only need a goal to win. That's especially true in a final, and it's just another trophy added to his CV, and it's very hard to argue with him. So clearly he was upset with the referee. He then clearly made his feelings plain. The fourth official spotted that, and then the fourth official relayed that message to the referee, who then promptly dismissed him. And I think he was then even more vexed by the fact that the fourth official had the temerity to actually say to his colleague, the on-field referee Fabio Maresca, that actually Allegri had been talking out of turn. And apparently he was even saying, "Where's Rocchi?" referring to Gianluca Rocchi, who's the referee's chief, as if to say, what are these appointments all about, really? So, all things considered, well played Juventus, very well played. They never looked like conceding. They gave Bayer Leverkusen a pretty good insight into the best possible way to approach playing against Atalanta next Wednesday in Dublin in the Europa League final, because Atalanta just had no answers, and they were made to look very ordinary and very one-dimensional in the absence of Gianluca Scamacca. So I think it's a bit of a damp squib, all things considered. Juventus fans won't care. Allegri's acolytes will be pleased as well. It's certainly vindication for him. He's got a lot of flack over the last few months about the way Juventus has been playing. Certain quarters he's been called outdated, a dinosaur, tactically inept. But on the big stage, when there was a trophy on the line, he turned up and they won. And you have to wonder where Atalanta go from this now under Gasperini. It's the third final that they've lost under him, 2019, 2021 and 2024. Might become 4 finals they've been beaten in if Leverkusen, who will start that game as favourites, are able to win the Europa League. And I'm really curious to see whether Scamacca in particular, having left his side short-handed with that very naive yellow card against Fiorentina in the Coppa Italia semi-final second leg in Bergamo, whether if he's back leading the line as we fully expect him to in the Europa League final, whether he's going to have that real desire to show what he's all about and make up for lost time and actually haul Atalanta over the line. It would be an incredible season. It's still going to be a memorable season, but they won't want it to be a campaign like Fiorentina had last season, when they were beaten in the Coppa Italia final by Inter and when they lost the Conference League final to West Ham. But there is a real danger of that coming to pass for Atalanta. Gasperini was grinning after the match, not exactly sure why. He's continued to say that his legacy won't be defined by whether or not Atalanta win a trophy, but it is and it remains the only thing missing from his time in charge. 8 wonderful seasons, several European qualifications. That's almost become the rule as opposed to the exception. They've qualified for the Champions League many times. I fully expect them to qualify for the Champions League again this season, be it in 5th place or be it via winning the Europa League. But this night was all about Juventus, even when it's not a vintage group of players, even when Allegri's clearly had his better days are perhaps behind him in terms of his coaching career. They still are able to win, keep a clean sheet. 15th Coppa Italia, first piece of silverware in 3 years, and 3 years was a long time for them to go without winning a trophy. And Dusan Vlahovic, he'll grab the headlines, he'll be the poster boy tomorrow, the cover story in all of the Italian sports press, and he richly deserves it. So that's Patrick Hendricks signing off with this slight summary of the Coppa Italia and Juventus' season. And if Allegri is to move on from the Juventus helm, then he does so in style with yet another piece of silverware.
Juventus do what Juventus do so well. They've won again. The Bianconeri beat Atalanta by a 0-0. It is a Juventus triumph. It is the Coppa Italia for the 15th time.
Head to SerieAchronicles.com/Patreon now and subscribe to the Chronicles Tifosi Patreon membership with a free 7-day trial. Get early access to every full-length episode and voice note before the rest of the world. Plus, all episodes are 100% ad-free. And you get bonus Patreon-only exclusive episodes, video episodes, and behind-the-scenes extras. Also, be sure to join the new chat community in the Patreon app and chat with fellow subscribers.
Sports Social Podcast Network.